Okay, folks. Now, what I'm doing is I am using this moon as an example. Okay. Now, this is a full moon. I mean, it appears full. It appears to be totally full, all white, all the way around, whatever, however they describe it to us. Okay. It is Friday, April the 19th, 2019, at about 1 a.m., 1 in the morning. Okay. This moon is pretty much directly straight up compared to where I'm standing. I'm basically looking straight up. Okay. Now, with the way that they describe the sun and the moon flying through the solar system and all that nonsense, okay, this right here makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Okay. Because the sun is not visible. There's no light. I mean, anywhere around in the sky. It's the middle of the night. It's 1 a.m. Okay, so my question to you is, how can that be full? There should be a shadow on the moon from the earth, right? Because I'm standing in the dark right now. So where I'm standing should cast a shadow on the moon, at least. Yeah, all you've ever been taught was lies. Okay? All you've ever been taught was lies. Unlearn everything you ever learned. Good morning, everyone. It's Friday. Happy Friday. Welcome to video 6 of Exposing the Beast System. Okay, in the last video, we talked about all kinds of stuff that we're forbidden from doing, because that's what they don't reveal to us, what we're not supposed to be doing. They don't reveal to us anything that we are supposed to be doing. And so basically what we discuss is that we are forbidden to practice magic, forbidden to practice witchcraft. We're forbidden to practice necromancy, contacting familiar spirits. We're just forbidden to do that. We're forbidden to practice magic while in this realm. Okay. Now, all this religious stuff is it gets deep. You know, some people get really offended by when you start talking about religion, because they hold that stuff very dear. One of my viewers, a very astute viewer, noticed on my hand that I actually have a cross tattooed on my middle finger. I tattooed that cross on my middle finger when I was 14 years old. You know, like I said, man, I always wanted something to hang on to, just like anybody else. You know, I used to believe in all that stuff, but well, then the Almighty Creator woke me up. You know, it's kind of nice. I actually put a roof on the greenhouse, so we don't really have to worry about the sun as much. It's in my eyes a little bit, but it's not bad. So we're good. Okay. Okay. What you need to understand is that laws and languages in this realm only mean stuff to us. Okay. The devil people created laws and languages to apply to the sheeple, to apply to the chattel. Okay. Sheeple and chattel are two terms that they use for us, besides goyim and all those other like religious things that they like throw in these little books. Okay. They basically call us chattel. You know, sheeple. Yeah. What you need to understand though is signs and symbols rule the world. Okay. Laws and languages don't mean anything. Laws and languages are what run this world. And if you are, laws and languages don't mean anything in this world to the devil people. You know, most of them can't really even read or write. I mean, if you know what I know about them, you know, it's true. You know, can't read or write. They don't need to. They don't need to read or write to do what they do in this realm. Man, pretty sick. Okay. Now, everybody has heard of the NWO, the New World Order. Bush talked about that stuff. George Bush talked about the New World Order, you know, and all that crap. Just look up the speech, you know. people ask me, am I going to leave links in the description box and stuff like that? No, I'm not leaving any links in my description box. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not going to do the research for you. All I'm doing is presenting you with information. What you do with that information is up to you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I'll try to explain it the best that I can. But this is just for information purposes and educational purposes. When I mention something, just write it down. Write it down and go Google it. Google is a government-run resource of information, but it's a resource of information. It is what it is. They're going to hand you a fake story, but after you hone your eye of discernment, you'll be able to figure out what part of the story is fake and what part of the story that they're offering up that actually maybe has a little validity to it. It comes with time. Time does all that. Okay. Some people think the NWO is actually the Nazi world order. NWO stands for Nazi world order. That's different. Everybody has this conception of Nazis as being these horrific individuals who killed so many millions of Jews, and they have the pictures to prove it. If you believe every picture you've ever seen in your life. Let me tell you something, people. If you don't understand what's going on here, okay, Photoshop has been around for a long time. Okay, I wouldn't even dare to guess when Photoshop was first developed. Okay, but the software program we understand is Photoshop, photo editing software, and all of that type of stuff has been around for a very long time. Very long time. We just don't get the information. They don't pass it along. Nazi world order. Yeah, that's something to ponder. Some people think the NWO stands for the Noahide world order. It's a different perspective, one I'm more inclined to believe, considering Bush signed into effect the Noahide laws, and Trump also signed into effect the Noahide laws. And if you don't know what these are, I have a video up about them on my channel. But just do a little research about the Noahide laws and how it's going to affect your life once this all goes into effect. Because it's going to go into effect. They don't sign these laws if they don't plan on implementing. Okay? They just don't. They don't waste their time. Their plan is very structured, and they run it to the letter. This is the devil's plan. And the devil controls the very air you breathe, in case you didn't know. And if you don't realize that, just go watch a couple of my chemtrail videos, and that's exactly what you're breathing. Okay? YouTube, right now, is our greatest source of information. It really is. You just got to sort the bad from the good. But, this is where we're at. We have to get our information from somewhere. And YouTube is a valuable source of information if you know what to look for and you know what you're looking at. You just have to be able to decipher it. It'll come. Signs and symbols rule the world, folks. You're going to notice these signs and symbols everywhere, once you're tuned into them. I see the world through the signs and symbols. If you want to understand how the signs and symbols rule the world, I suggest you watch a movie. It's called They Live. It's from the 80s. It stars a wrestler, Roddy Piper, who was real popular back in the day, one of those scripted fake wrestling things. And but basically, the movie's kind of a documentary, and they even admitted to it in one of the interviews that I watched over this movie, They Live. Roddy Piper puts on these glasses, and he can actually see what's going on through like media and people and everything else. Okay, speaking of reality and a fake scripted reality, okay. We've touched briefly on politics, okay, and we went a little further into religion. Now we're going to go back to politics, okay. Now the fake scripted reality that you live in is rooted in the politics, okay. It's rooted in the government and all that stuff that they have us biting on. It's, pretty much a regular thing with these people to have us biting on some fake story, and then they serve us up a bunch of lies and then pass a bunch of laws behind it. Okay. Now, one of the players in my scripted fake reality is a man named Kirsten Sinema. Okay, and when I say a man, I mean that Kirsten Sinema, the senator from the state of Arizona, is really a man. Okay, this individual is really a man posing as a woman. Physiology doesn't lie, folks. Okay, I've been researching this stuff long enough. I know, I know the physiology between a man and a woman. I know the differences in pretty much every bone in their body, and I'm telling you, my Senator Kristen Sinema is a man. Okay, now here locally, with near where I live, there's a new sheriff that just got elected. Okay, new sheriff in town. Okay, it's a woman, Susan Smith. Susan Smith is a man posing as a woman. Okay, Susan Smith is a man posing as a woman. I looked online for the sheriff of Yuma County, Arizona, because that's where she's from. That's where she's the sheriff at. I found 2 pictures in an image search of someone that's supposed to be the sheriff and has been a cop for so many years. There's 2 pictures, 2 public pictures available of this person. Sounds a little fishy to me, don't you think, folks? There's more pictures of me available in the last week. Okay? That's just the facts. Okay? Some things really, really irk me in this world. Okay? And one of the things that really irks me is people turning a blind eye to this stuff. I had a friend of mine, I was explaining to them, and they're supposedly awake. I mean, they claim to be awake, and they do know some things. And I was telling them about, this individual being posing as a woman, And this person was more interested in vacuuming the car out than whether the police chief of the city they live near is a man posing as a woman in a public office. I mean, that's bizarre to me that someone would be more interested in vacuuming out their car than figuring out whether their police chief is really fake. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Okay, now there are a few ways that they achieve this, and I suggest you look into it. It's called facial feminization surgery. Okay, what they do is they do a bunch of surgery on their face, hence the term, but they shave their brow bone. Male skull has what's called a brow bone. I suggest you look into a little bit of this physiology. Okay, male skull has a brow bone, which is this bone right above your eyes right here, and you can see it's a lump. Well, they have to get that shaved down, or otherwise it just pops out. I mean, all you have to do is go look at some of the pictures of the former first ladies. Man, some of them bras got a real big brow bone. Also, part of the female feminization surgery is getting your trachea shaved. The male trachea is 40% larger than the female trachea. Okay, takes up a lot of space in there. Okay, so if they get it shaved, okay, if they shave it too much, they get that real raspy voice, like Demi Moore, like Rachel Ward. Okay, that's how they got those voices, folks. Those are men. Both of those individuals that I just mentioned are men. Okay, they're all men. Any woman that you've ever seen in the movies is a man. Okay, I know it's kind of hard to take, but the men are women. Okay, they're inverted. It's called elite satanic inversion. Okay, and if you're not tuned into it, you need to get tuned into it. They change their sexes, usually before birth, sometimes at birth, sometimes after birth. Just depends on what family they're in. All of the families, all the satanic families do things different ways. Physiology doesn't lie, folks. If it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Okay, it is what it is. I mean, I've seen what I've seen. I know what I know, and it is what it is. Okay, biblical lies. Okay, back to a little bit of this Bible stuff. Okay, now in the Bible, they say that God put Adam into a deep sleep. Well, I don't believe that. Took out a rib and made woman. I don't believe that either. Okay, let me tell you what I think that is. Okay, I think that's just mocking us. Have you ever heard of rib removal surgery? Okay, this is part of the female feminization surgery. You have ribs down here in the lower part of your back. If you feel down there, they're called floating ribs for you guys. Okay, women have them too, but they don't need to have them removed. Okay, because that's why they remove them, to make a guy pose as a woman and give them a waist. Okay, what they do is they remove these ribs down in the bottom on these freaks. Okay, and then they corset train them. And you females have heard of a corset, probably never worn one or anything, but yeah, they corset train them. They wrap this stuff around them to give them the dimensions of more female than male. And yeah, it works. It fools most people. Most people are tricked by these people. You know, it's just theater, folks. These people have been doing this for thousands of years. It's just theater. Okay. One reason that I don't believe that the story about Adam is fake is because the Lord had just created Adam. Why would he have to put him into a deep sleep to remove a rib? I mean, it just doesn't make sense, you know. And basically what that does is that's passing some kind of alchemy onto you. It's telling you that he put him into a deep sleep using what? Using what? Some kind of drug? Well, we're forbidden to practice alchemy too, you know. And when you learn about practicing alchemy, it's basically taking anything into your body. I mean, it's bad. What you need to understand is that, you know, for every aspirin that you take, I really don't think that the good Lord is going to hold you accountable. You've been lied to. You've been tricked. The facts are that we've all been tricked. We've been tricked since the beginning. You know, that's just the way these people operate. My suggestion to you, unlearn everything that you have ever learned and start fresh with a different perspective. I hope that you all have a blessed weekend. I'll see you soon.